Dominic Reyes was on the Pound for Pound podcast today, and once again he stood firm on his belief he thinks he beat Jon Jones back in 2020. Yes, Jon won that fight by unanimous decision, but Dominic still insists the judges got it wrong. In his heart, he believes he did enough to win.
Rounds do you believe that you won?
All three, first three, easily. He had nothing for me. He might have landed 2 punches in all 3 of those rounds. He took me down 4 and 5. I got up in 1.5 seconds. Now that counts as nothing. He took me down, wasted energy, I got up and then elbowed him. Doesn't use his reach really well. For being 84-inch reach, bro, how many hand knockouts, how many punches does he land? Not very many. When I look at the numbers and how it actually is versus the glazing, my hands were and are better than his because he doesn't understand his range very well. He wants to be touching you and elbowing you and grappling you. Safer places.
Jon does what he does best. He grows in the fight. And I remember you weren't afraid of him.
Not at all. He's been a champion for a long time. My whole thing was don't let him do anything he wants to do.
Dominic wants another crack at it, dude. Bring him back.
Oh, I did. If you guys don't remember, after that fight, I lobbied for the rematch for the entire year, and he said, drop the belt and went to heavyweight. He ran for me. He said, you're not paying me enough to fight that guy. He's too...
Now let's talk about Luke Rockhold. If there's one thing clear, it's that he absolutely hates bare-knuckle boxing. You probably remember he fought Mike Perry in BKFC in 2023, lost by second-round TKO, and walked away with broken teeth. In an interview with MMAfighting.com, Luke didn't hold back. He said, bare-knuckle boxing is not a real fight. I walked in there and realized I'm not losing my teeth like this. Not without using everything I've trained my whole life for. People doing this are dumb. That's a dumbass sport. He kept going. They've got metal ropes. You hit those things and get thrown right back into the fight. There's no real way to judge the distance. It's just about who's willing to ruin their face first for nothing. Now Luke is gearing up to box Darren Till under Misfits Boxing on August 30th. And he's confident. He says Darren won't last more than a few rounds. This can't be worse than bare-knuckle boxing, Luke says. I'm hitting hard in training, real hard. I feel like my boxing has evolved. No one's seen it yet, but they will. I'm moving better. I've got rhythm. I'm hurting guys left and right at the gym. I'll go out there and do the same. He believes Darren won't survive more than a few rounds. And Luke's got one more idea. He thinks bare-knuckle kickboxing would actually be better. Let me rematch Mike Perry under those rules, Luke said. I'd put him to sleep. There'd be actual technique in that kind of fight. That would be a real fight. That would be fun. I'd mess someone up in that. Meanwhile, Rainier Derrida shared something interesting. He thinks it'd actually be harder to prepare for Dricus du Plessis than for Khamzat Chimaev. Dricus is about to defend his middleweight belt against Khamzat at UFC 319. Rainier told MMA Junkie Khamzat would be easier to prepare for. Not saying he's an easier fight, but his style is more standard. I can get some Dagestani guys and Chechens in the gym. They wrestle like him. He boxes well, but nothing too out of the ordinary. But Dricus, Rainier said, he's weird. He does random, unpredictable stuff. You can't figure him out. You need more time to study him. I even sparred him a few years ago when his kicks really stood out. Mauricio Ruffy recently teased a fight announcement on social media, and fans are speculating. Looks like he might be going up against Benoit Saint-Denis at UFC Paris. Ruffy is still unranked in the lightweight division. Benoit is sitting at number 13. Here's something exciting. Jared Cannonier is set to fight Michael Venom Page at UFC 319. But from the sound of it, Jared isn't too thrilled. In an interview with Submission Radio, he shared his thoughts. The problem I have is that MVP isn't really a middleweight. I'm focused on getting back to the title. I get it. This is a big fight, big card, and there's a lot riding on it. That's what the rumors say, and I'll leave it at that. Business as usual. He continued, honestly, I don't really understand the matchmaking. He's unranked and I don't see the logic. But MVP is still a well-known fighter. We've all seen him. We know he's exciting. So, it's still a big fight. Jared knows that a strong finish here could get him back on the path toward the title. Meanwhile, Ben Askren recently gave fans a bit of a scare. Earlier this week, he had to return to the hospital due to possible complications from his double lung transplant. But thankfully, Ben posted an update. Things are looking better now.
Hey guys, quick update. Update number 7. My hands are a little shaky from some of these medicines. I'm still in the hospital, but everything's been good. They kept me here because they thought there was some infection possibility. Every test they've ran so far has came back negative, so I'm pretty happy about that. I don't think there's anything major wrong at all. I think I'm waiting for 1 or 2 more tests to come back, and then we'll see where we go from there. I also want to add a Mental Monday because I haven't done one in a while. although you may say, a few of my last posts had to do with the psychology of killing on the path of life. So one of the things we're passionate about at Ask a Wrestling Academy is we'll take anybody. I don't care if you're doing wrestled, I don't care if you suck at wrestling. If you want to be in the room and you want to get better, we'd love to have you. And it's kind of that simple. I cringe when I see some of these 7, 8, 9-year-old baseball teams make cuts. I think it's a lot of sports at that age, honestly. But if you want to have a good team long term, you want to keep as many kids as possible involved, because you don't know who's going to develop. Right? I've had kids who never qualified for each stage that have placed at state, went D1, like many kids. So one of our goals at AWA that makes us really effective is keep around as many kids as possible. Okay? But the more kids you keep around, the more possibilities you have at turning something out. And honestly, lots of times when kids are really good at 7, 8, 9 years old, either the parent has already put a bunch of time into them, or some kids just physically mature way earlier. I hate cutting at young ages. I don't think you should do it. I think it's really stupid. Yeah, that's all I got for you. All right, try to update you guys when I get out of here. Hopefully, today is Wednesday, July 30th. Hopefully, maybe tomorrow or the next day. But I'm gonna go Stockdale Paradox. Not good too.
Earlier this week, Nate Diaz made some noise. He called out Max Holloway. If you didn't know, Nate's been hinting that he wants to return to the UFC, and now he's aiming right at Max, who's been holding the BMF belt. Nate posted a photo of Max with the belt and wrote, "This guy cool, but he keeps wearing my belt," along with an angry face emoji. John McCarthy recently gave his opinion on how that fight would go. He said, "I'll be honest, it's not a great matchup. It's a one-sided fight. Max is way faster than Nate. He moves constantly. Nate struggles with movement." He even brought up Josh Thompson, who caused Nate problems in the past with constant movement. That was back when Nate was younger and quicker. Now, I just don't see it going well for him. The real question is, how long can Nate last before Max slices him up and the fight gets stopped due to cuts? Michael Bisping also chimed in with advice, but about a different upcoming fight. He gave some words to Dricus du Plessis ahead of his title defense against Khamzat at UFC 319. Bisping says Dricus shouldn't avoid Khamzat's wrestling. He should meet it head on. On his YouTube channel, Bisping said, "Dricus is confident. He said he wants to fight Khamzat on the ground. Everyone else tries to avoid that, but he wants to test himself. He's not scared." There are videos online of Dricus rolling with the entire Gracie Barra black belt team, submitting them one by one. He's big, strong, has knockout power, solid wrestling, great judo, and now since his nose surgery, he's got great cardio too. And let's not forget, these two hate each other. Bisping warns that Khamzat will take you down. Just look at what he did to Robert Whittaker and Kamaru Usman. He's relentless. So instead of running, face him, fight him at his own game. Don't back away. Take the challenge head on. Meanwhile, Rainier de Ridder thinks Paulo Costa might be behind a fake account pretending to be him. There was a fake post going viral recently, over 1 million views, showing that famous picture of Paulo and Israel Adesanya with the caption, "You got your first win in 3 years. I got my first decision in 4 years. Actions speak louder than words. Meet me in November at MSG." But Rainier cleared the air in an interview with Inside Fighting. He said, "That's not me. I think it was Paulo Costa himself running both accounts." Renato Moicano also shared his thoughts. He compared Rainier's fighting style to Dricus du Plessis and said he clearly beat Robert Whittaker at UFC Abu Dhabi. Moicano was especially impressed with Rainier's knee strikes.
Here, Moicano thoughts from that guy's style because he's another DDP, right? Another crazy style.
I think he's like DDP cousin or something like that because they the same. I know one is from South Africa, right?
Yeah.
But I think he's like his ancestors or something was from Netherlands. They look the same.
The same.
But to me, it was not a hard fight to judge. I think was easy to score, right?
The Reader, right?
What do you think? Why the Reader? So why are you asking if he deserved to win? I think it was a easy fight to score.
It was still a split decision though.
But I think it was clear, 3-2 clear.
I thought it was very clear, 3-2.
Yeah, but I agree with that because the 2 rounds that Robbie won, bro, he dominated. But it wasn't enough to be a 10-8. So I think it was 2 rounds 10-9 to Rob, and 3 rounds 10-9 to the Reader, and the Reader won. And I trained with this guy, and I told Moicano, like, bro, the guy has very good jiu-jitsu, very tricky with the clinch, with the takedowns, and he has a chin, not the best striking, not not like a beautiful Adesanya to put a strike movement.
Yeah.
But the guy,
No, let's be honest. He just have the knee. The knee is very good.
Good jabs. The knees on stand up. Yes.
The timing on the knee is perfect, bro.
Very good.
And then the timing on the knee is because he was having trouble on the first round. Do you remember that? Like,
Yes.
Whittaker very hard to take it down.
Yes.
But then I don't know if it was in the first or the second round. He timing the knee on the clinch and on the when Whittaker was in the cage, and then he fell and then he went to the back and put him on the. So the
round,
timing on the knee is very impressive. But other than that, the guy's just.
Yeah, but he's a high-level grappler. He can take a lot of punishment, and whenever he throws.
Dan Hooker has a wild theory, and honestly, it might not be that far off. He thinks the UFC might actually book Ilia Topuria versus Paddy Pimblett next. In a chat with Sky Sports, Dan said, "The funny thing is, they might actually do it. Paddy versus Ilia, that would be insane. Ilia would fight Chandler, then get a title shot? That's crazy, but whatever, it doesn't matter." Dan went on to explain that if you're Ilia and you're thinking smart, you pick Paddy, not Arman Tsarukyan, not Justin Gaethje. Paddy. Why? Because Arman is really tough. But Paddy brings the most money and the easiest fight. Dan said, "If I'm the champ, getting pay-per-view points and I have to pick between Arman, Gaethje, or Paddy, I'm picking Paddy. You get the biggest payday and the weakest opponent. It's a win-win." And finally, let's talk about Rampage Jackson. So he was doing a live stream recently, just enjoying a steak, but fans started clowning him online because, get this, he put ketchup on it. Yeah, ketchup on steak, and somehow in the middle of that chaos, Jon Jones caught a stray.
I bet Jon Jones doesn't put ketchup on his steak.
I bet Jon Jones puts in his nose, though.
And that's it for today's MMA news. Thanks for watching.